The European Commission has set aside millions of euro of taxpayers' money, which includes Irish taxpayers' money, for propaganda campaigns around the country to, what they say, inform the Irish people about Europe. They say it's got nothing to do with the Lisbon Treaty, by the way. This information campaign by the European Commission is only to inform Irish citizens about Europe. It's got nothing to do with Lisbon. So when they were asked how much money they were spending in other European countries informing other European citizens about the European Union, none. There is no campaign in any other country in the EU except in Ireland, and then they say it's not about the Lisbon Treaty. Now, it doesn't take a genius to work out that either Irish people are completely stupid and the European Commission thinks we have to have a special information campaign to educate the Irish people, or it's geared towards the Lisbon Treaty referendum. And I think it's obvious what it's geared towards. It's geared towards getting a particular outcome in the referendum. And I think the European Commission's interference, it's organising various different events around the country. It's also involved in many of the new groups that have been set up. And we heard a lot last time around about groups on the no side where there was a lack of transparency in relation to who was funding them and where they were getting their donations, etc., etc. There's a lot of new groups that have been set up. You have the Ireland for Europe group headed by Pat Cox, who I see has been given a major new appointment by the European Commission, despite the fact that he's one of the biggest lobbyists in Europe and has not made transparent his lobbying involvement, nor has the European Commission actually asked him to. There's a huge lack of transparency there, and it's all to do with, at the end of the day, vested interests, and Pat Cox is one of the people who's got a vested interest. He is behind this group, Ireland for Europe. We have the group called We Belong, which I think is really a ridiculous saying, we belong. Does that mean we belong to Europe or Europe belongs to us? I mean, I don't think we belong to Europe. I think, you know, Europe belongs to us. We are the citizens of Europe. All the other countries in Europe are the citizens of Europe. Europe belongs to us. We don't belong to it. We don't live in a monarchy, I don't think. But anyway, the other group that is called Generation Yes. All of these groups, if you actually scrape behind the surface, you will find that the European Commission and the EU institutions and all the bodies from the Yes side last time who lost are actually indirectly promoting these new groups and new faces. The government and the political parties haven't come out and really put a face on themselves to come out and openly campaign. They have got everyone from the Edge to football players to poets to whatever to come out and do the campaigning work for them. But I'd like the Edge or what's his name, Robbie Keane or whoever it is to come and debate with us here about why we should actually vote for the Lisbon Treaty. Have they read it? Last time around we discovered the politicians haven't read it. This time the celebrities probably haven't read it either. So that's, it's the whole sort of, I suppose most of my frustration at the moment is the type of campaign that's been run by the Yes side. And huge amounts of public money are being poured into it. Probably one of the most disturbing things is the involvement of huge big corporations like Intel, Ryanair have come out saying, urging people to vote yes. And what is alarming there is that there is no restriction on how much money big corporations can spend in a referendum campaign in Ireland. Now, when you think that a referendum in Ireland is about changing our constitution, which was drafted in such a way that all power comes from you, the people, from us. We are the people who decide if we want to change our constitution. And the constitution was designed in such a way that politicians and that couldn't take total control, that the people would always have the final say. Now we have a situation where huge corporate businesses can use as much of the resources as possible to try and influence us to change our constitution to perhaps benefit them. Is this the kind of approach we want? The Standards in Public Office Commission complained about this loophole or flaw in the law about 5 years ago to the Department of the Environment. Nothing has been done since to rectify this situation, that individuals or corporations can actually spend unlimited amounts of money promoting a yes vote, or a no vote if they want, without any restriction. Now, I think that's very worrying. And we would just take the two cases, Ryanair and Intel. Intel are facing a massive fine from the European Commission. And that begs the question, well, you know, is there something going on here where, you know, the Commission are not going to be as hard on them if they come out and publicly campaign and try and influence the vote and deliver a yes vote? Will the Commission go soft on them. And the same with Ryanair. Ryanair actually want to take over Aer Lingus. They've got also a massive fine facing them from the European Commission. You know, what's going on here? Intel as well, and I'll come to the issues in relation to the military aspects of the Lisbon Treaty. Intel, as has been pointed out on numerous occasions, are involved in the production of certain products that can be used as components or supporting components for the military complex and the military industrial complex. So is there something going on there when you consider that within the Lisbon Treaty brings in the European Defence Agency. It's incorporated into the treaty. It becomes more or less legalised by the Lisbon Treaty. And I'll just go back a little bit on the history of the European Defence Agency. The European Defence Agency used to be called the European Arms Agency, by the way, when it was originally being established. The European Defence Agency came about as a result of the arms industries in Europe lobbying heavily the European Commission. And when I was elected in 1994 to the European Parliament, I couldn't believe the amount of documentation that's coming in from the arms industry and to the European Commission, and the stuff coming out from the European Commission in relation to the arms industries were lobbying the Commission, saying that they were basically bemoaning the fact that since the end of the Cold War, arms sales had slumped and that something had to be done to boost the arms industry in Europe so it could compete at a global level with places like the US. So all of this was basically to do with boosting the arms industry, making it more competitive, making it more able to actually make huge profit from its mercantile of death, basically. And that's what was happening. They facilitated the European arms industry. They established the European Defence Agency. In Thessalonica at the EU summit, the Irish government signed up when the EDA, the European Defence Agency, was established. The Irish government signed up to that without asking the Irish people, without consulting the Dáil, without any public debate, and since that they still have not had one single Dáil debate, one Dáil discussion or one Dáil vote on the fact that they're cooperating with a European Defence Agency which was set up at the behest of the arms industry. And when you look at the Lisbon Treaty, you will see that within the Lisbon Treaty, the European Defence Agency is not only incorporated into the treaties, but it's tasked with advising and making proposals, etc., to the Council about member states' military capabilities, about research and development into weapons and military technology. I think one of the most disturbing things is when you consider as well that within the Lisbon Treaty, member states are obliged to improve their military capabilities, right? What does improve your military capabilities? It means basically to spend money on weaponry or to develop better weaponry or to provide yourself with a better arsenal. And if the arms industries are advising the Council on what member states need, surely it's like, poacher, gamekeeper all in one. It's really ridiculous to think that the arms industry have such a key role in the future European Union established by virtue of the Lisbon Treaty. And then you take on board the fact that Enterprise Ireland have attended a number of European Defence Agency meetings. We don't know what they were doing there, but clearly it seems to indicate that there are some people in this country who think that, well, one of the areas where there's huge potential is in the arms industries. That's where we're going to provide jobs for young people in the future, in providing technology and weaponry and things that are going to cause havoc and devastation all over the world. And Intel, as I said, are connected to the whole military industrial complex. So